Please note, this story is intended for Ajanza. Lauren Ponce sat quietly in her bridal dress, overwhelmed by fear and confusion. She was 15 years younger than Asif, and since childhood, she had always called him Asif Bai. She had never imagined that one day she would become his wife. After losing her parents, Alisha had grown up in her uncle's home. Asif had always treated her like a younger sister and had been strict about her studies. She had always been afraid of disappointing him. But tonight, everything had changed. The marriage itself had happened unexpectedly. Alisha sat in the room wondering what Asif would do next. She was frightened, confused, and emotionally exhausted. Then the door opened. Asif entered the room and immediately noticed Alisha sitting quietly. "Look, Lauren Ponce," he said. She nervously replied, "Yes, Asif Bai." His expression hardened. "Do you still not understand that our relationship has changed?" Alisha froze. She had spent her entire life seeing him as an older brother figure, and suddenly she was expected to see him as her husband. The pressure became too much for her, and she fainted. Asif was shocked. He quickly tried to wake her and realized that she was genuinely unconscious. His anger disappeared, replaced by concern. "Alisha, please wake up. I didn't mean to frighten you this badly." After several attempts, she finally opened her eyes. The first thing she saw was Asif standing near her. She immediately became frightened. "Please, Asif Bai," he stopped her. "Don't call me that anymore." She lowered her eyes. "I won't, but please don't be cruel to me." Asif stared at her for a moment. "You are my wife now, but I know you never chose this situation." Alisha's eyes filled with tears. "I never saw you this way. Please give me some time." Asif became silent. "You want time?" "Yes," he stepped back. "Then take the time you need. But understand that my life has changed too." Alisha knew there was another woman in his heart. Her name was Javaria. Asif openly admitted that he loved Javaria and had wanted to marry her. Alisha felt completely broken. She had entered this marriage without expecting love, and now she realized that her husband's heart belonged to someone else. That night, Asif kept his distance and allowed Alisha to rest. The next morning, he received numerous calls and messages from Javaria. When he finally called her back, she was furious. "Asif, I thought you were different from other men. You made me believe that you loved me, and now you've married someone else." Asif tried to explain. "Javaria, the situation was complicated. Alisha is my cousin, and she was already facing a difficult situation. The wedding happened suddenly, and I couldn't refuse my family. Javaria was heartbroken. You made a choice. Now you have to live with it." Asif told her that he still loved her and intended to marry her someday. But Javaria refused to accept empty promises. "If you really loved me, you would have stood up for me." Asif had no easy answer. Later that morning, he left for work. Before leaving, he warned Alisha to behave normally in front of the family. "You don't need to tell everyone how complicated things are between us." Alisha quietly agreed. She was trying to survive a situation she had never asked for. At home, Asif's family welcomed her warmly. His sister Nita treated Alisha like a real sister and tried to make her feel comfortable, but Alisha couldn't forget what Asif had told her. He loved another woman. Meanwhile, Asif went to meet Javaria instead of going directly to work. Javaria's mother already knew about their relationship. She was disappointed that Asif had married someone else. "Asif, what happened?" "Javaria has been devastated since she heard about the marriage." Asif explained everything. "I never wanted this marriage. It happened because of circumstances." He then went upstairs to speak to Javaria. She was standing near the window. When she saw him, she turned away. "Please leave me alone." "Javaria, listen to me. You married someone else, Asif. What am I supposed to believe now? I still love you." She looked at him sadly. "Love isn't enough if you aren't willing to stand beside me." Asif promised that he would marry her. But Javaria asked the question he had been avoiding. "Can you give me your name publicly? Can you stand in front of your family and choose me?" Asif remained silent. She understood the answer. "Then please leave me alone." Asif became frustrated. "You're going to regret pushing me away." Javaria shook her head. "Maybe I will, but I don't want to live as someone's secret." Asif eventually left. That evening, his father called him and reminded him that the wedding reception was about to begin. Asif hurried home. When he entered the room, Alisha was dressed for the reception. She was lost in her thoughts. Asif looked at her and said, "Don't build any expectations in your heart. You don't have an important place in my life." Alisha quietly replied, "I know." Then she said something that deeply affected him. "If I'm really that unimportant to you, then tell my uncle the truth." Don't ruin your life because of me, she continued. I have already lived with the pain of losing my parents. Perhaps I will spend my life longing for my husband's love too, but I don't blame you. Asif was surprised by her maturity. She wasn't demanding anything from him. She wasn't forcing him to love her. She simply wanted honesty. The reception went ahead normally. Later that night, everyone returned home. Alisha went to the bedroom and began removing her jewelry. She was exhausted. Her heart was empty. She knew Asif was still in love with Javaria. Around 1 in the morning, Asif's phone rang. It was Javaria. Alisha glanced at him but said nothing. Asif answered the call. Javaria was angry. So you're with your wife now. I suppose you don't need me anymore. Asif became irritated. Javaria, don't start this again. Alisha listened quietly, then a thought crossed her mind. If she continued to remain distant, perhaps Asif would always think only about Javaria. She knew she had to face the reality of her marriage. She walked toward Asif. He looked surprised. Alisha gathered her courage and stood in front of him. Asif ended the call. What happened? Yesterday you were terrified of me. Why are you standing so close to me now? Alisha took a breath. You are my husband. You told me that our relationship has changed. I thought perhaps I should accept that reality. Asif looked at her carefully. You know what you're saying? Yes. She was still afraid, but she tried not to show it. Asif asked, are you finally willing to accept this marriage? Alisha nodded. I don't want another woman to control what happens between us. If I am your wife, then I deserve honesty and respect. Asif became silent. For the first time, he seemed to understand that Alisha was not simply a frightened girl he had known since childhood. She was now a woman trying to find her place in a marriage she had never planned. Their relationship was complicated. There was anger, there was fear, there was jealousy, and there were feelings neither of them fully understood yet. But one thing was becoming clear. This marriage had changed both of their lives forever, and neither Lauren Ponce nor Asif knew what would happen next.